So here's a quick video with no editing to show what I did, not on this camera, but on a different F2. This is an F2A. There's going to be a cat crying, apparently. So we'll just jump right into this. Some of these things you guys may already know, you'd be familiar with. I don't need to tell you, but I'm going to probably repeat some things. So this little contact right here is the negative contact that supplies power. Really, in the F2, it's just to the viewfinder, the metered viewfinders. This one does have a DP11 on it, I guess, and it's working. But what happens, and you can look this up, Google search F2 battery compartment problems, etc. And what you'll see is probably some pictures taken from the other side of this. This is like a little cup-shaped plastic battery compartment here. And this contact sits at the bottom of it, and this one here sits at the top. You can't really see, without taking the camera down to a great extent, you can't get to see the back side of this, the underside of this, which is what you need to see. You have to take out the mirror box. If you could see, the mirror box is right on the other side of this. I mean, it's right there. You can tell by where the lens is here. So you can take off this bottom cover, and it will not get you anywhere near where you need to be here to deal with this. So on the camera that I have that's not working, or wasn't working, let's put on that, we had this problem. This black housing that holds the batteries, if you could see right through down into here, about a centimeter down, there is the plastic heads off to the left here, and it has a little screw on it, and that screw is the terminal, I should say, for the wire that's going up eventually. It's going to the switch, I think, actually, but it's eventually going up to the meter. Well, that black plastic that we can't see here was not strong enough, or at least it failed over time, becomes brittle, I'm not sure, and it would break. So if you could see it, it's down here below this area that I'm pointing at right now. It breaks, and it causes this tab here, this contact, to no longer be anchored to anything, really. I mean, it's still connected to the wire, hopefully, but it's not secure. It moves too easily. If you could, you see them, and they don't have any spring here, and they might just move around. I've seen them slide all the way out this way until they're gone, until that metal contact is no longer visible. It's laying back here somewhere inside. So, if your wire is still connected, hopefully it is, all I've done, and I gotta be careful, I don't want to mess with my contact here too much, I took and cut a small piece of rubber. This is from an inner tube. I think I ended up deciding this is about the length that I wanted, maybe a little too long. Of course, you could always trim it off inside there. And I'll take this, and of course on a broken one, I'm not too worried about that tab, but I would lift it up, and I would slip this piece of rubber underneath. I'm going to slip it underneath the metal tab. Once I get it in place, I'm going to work it back in so that it's moving this way. Underneath that tab, it's moving this way. I can use use whatever you've got that's safe. Slide it in there, and what I'm trying to do is, because I didn't finish explaining, I got ahead of myself, I'm trying to push it back in this area that you can't see, because what happens with it, the other end of this contact on the other end of this contact that's half-fastened to the wire that we cannot see, it is very close. Always, it's very near to the middle mirror box that's right here. Right here. So it's like a millimeter, 2 millimeters, if it's working properly. If it's not broken, it's very close to that metal box. So that other contact end, if that's broken, that piece of plastic's broken and this is floating somewhat, you put your 2 batteries in here and you close it up, and normally it would have just pushed down on this spring, and the other end here would have stayed in place 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters from the mirror box, this other contact that you can't see down here underneath. It's just the extension of this one right here. So if it's not working properly, you put the batteries in, it pushes this down, but it also pushes the other end down. By down, I mean toward this direction, down toward the surface of the desk here. That happens to be where the mirror box frame is located, and it touches that, or it can touch that, and short out your connection. And when it shorts out, you of course won't get any reading when you go try to check the reading on it. So when I was messing around with this the other day, I shoved some of that rubber in there, and I took and put my multimeter on here and up on the other contact up above where the viewfinder is. And I finally got a reading, and it was like 15, which is not a good reading for continuity. So I took another piece of rubber and put it in behind the first one and just kept shoving them in there so that the rubber was moving this direction underneath here, which was hopefully between the contact, which is actually a screw, I think, between the contact and the mirror box. That's the key. That's what the goal here is, to get that rubber as an insulator between the screw, that really is the contact on the other end of this, and the mirror box. So I shoved that other piece of rubber in, and I checked it with my multimeter. This is running long, this video, sorry. I checked it with the multimeter, and it was looking pretty good. It was down to like very close to 0. So I got that shoved in there as far back as I could. So you can see, even I think on it, you can see the little piece of rubber sticking out here, which is okay. But the important thing is it goes back as far as I could push it into here, because that contact is being made somewhere. I was saying the mirror box is over here. That mirror box is right above this is where it is. I don't know what I was thinking. The mirror box is right in this area. So I'm shoving that rubber back in there so that it's right around here somewhere. If you could see it, it's right around in here, and it's blocking the contact between the mirror box and the underside of this contact, the other side of this and the other end of this contact, if that makes sense. I hope it does. That's about as much as I can tell you. Again, you could look online and see photos of what the inside of this looks like, but I thought about putting some glue in there to hold it in place, but in the end, there's nothing to cause these to move around much. If you just want to get power back, this is something that I think will work for at least half of them. Again, just lift up that tab a little bit, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to break mine off. Lift up that tab, take that piece of rubber, and start to push it up this direction so that it's underneath this metal tab, which puts it between the contact and the mirror box. Shove it back in there. Use the piece. I've got one there. It looks like it's about, I don't know what that is, about 1 inch long. Somewhere between 1/2 inch and 1 inch long. Shove it in there and try to get it as far back as possible. Check your readings, or put your, check to see if you've got power in there. And that's it. That's what I've got, and I'm sure some of the people here will be just livid that I'm recommending this kind of half measure. But compared to what it takes to tear this whole thing down, it's a much better deal. And frankly, for me, I'm not going to use most of these cameras ever. It's just because I want them to work. I want the lights to light up, or I want the needle to move. Some of you that are using your cameras, even for work maybe, if you're using them a lot, have somebody open it up, or if you can open it up yourself, get down in there, take out the mirror box, change this plastic part, which is what really needs to be done to fix it correctly, is change that whole plastic thing with the contact in it. And while you're in there, I'd recommend cleaning the governor, slow speed governor, which is right here also, and right next to this thing. So that's it. Good luck with it.